Hey everyone, and welcome to REZO Cast episode 62. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove and Mana, and our special guest, returning Resolute member, Maverick. Thanks so much for joining us, man. How has your week been?
I can't complain. That's about it. Lots of work.
Quite a few things going on right now, so I don't feel like I can complain either.
Do you want me to complain? Because I will.
Oh, I don't
hear you complaining all the time. That's
you, yeah.
I never once complained ever. Just saying.
Well, you're never here to complain.
I only missed like once, didn't I? Oh, twice.
It's been over a year since I've been here, so I'm just throwing that out.
So,
who are you again?
I'm multiple people.
Maverick Jr. Bastard.
How are you? Tell me about
There's a lot of distrust in this episode right now.
I'm getting irritated. Okay, who is this Maverick Jr.?
I don't believe you.
Okay, so we need to clarify here, guys. What we're talking about here is we had a dispute last episode over whether Brother Vance was actually blind or not. Hove came up with this wild theory that Brother Vance is just playing a trick on us and is not blind this entire time, and Osiris is gonna show up and he's like, "Oh, just kidding, guys.
Gotcha, bitch." That's what he's gonna say.
Yeah, and we were all like, "No, there's no way this is true." And Hove is like, "Just leave us a review and tell me if you agree with me. Like, I need to know." And somebody left a review basically saying that Hove was correct.
Why don't we read that like out loud?
I feel uncomfortable with reading Hove is correct out loud. Okay,
I don't. Hold on a second.
I got it. Here we go. We had from Maverick Jr. 24. Love this podcast. # Space Turtles. Listening to you guys has been one of my weekly routines for the past year. Love the fun and chemistry you have. P.S. Hove is right. Brother Vance can see, and Space Turtles are awesome.
Boom.
So,
however, I find it odd.
Go ahead.
That this randomly happened the same week we're having Maverick on the podcast. I feel like I'm being trolled here, and I want to be really, really excited about you, Maverick Jr. If you were real, I hope you're real. But I also feel like I'm going to be embarrassed and let down when Mav says, "Haha, that was me, you suck." So
okay, he doesn't want to get debated into it.
Okay. I want to be so excited. I want to be the most excited I've ever been on this podcast.
Be excited. Be excited. Because it wasn't me.
I don't know.
100%.
When I first asked you,
Junior in chat right now. Is there
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. If it was me, I would leave the clan.
Whoa, is that an insult?
No, hands down, I would walk away from the clan if I was lying to you right now.
Oh, about the lie.
I believe
unless you're lying about that too.
He's very convincing.
I'm not lying. Why?
He's telling the truth.
Welcome back to the podcast, Mav. By the way, you're a fat liar. Leave the clan. Thanks.
It was Triton. It was Triton. He's trying to create conflict.
He's not here
for the episode.
I would think it was Triton, but I think Triton. I don't know. I think Triton's already tried to pull this before, and I don't know.
But no, so honestly, I've been meaning to like a review on iTunes for you guys because I do listen to the podcast every single week. It is my drive in and it's partially my drive back from work. So yeah, but I'm a busy guy. I just haven't had time to physically do it. That's all.
Well,
I'm excited.
I trust him. I trust Mav.
I trust Mav. We appreciate.
I have
that,
trust
Mav.
issues.
Well,
someone didn't call you right.
This has been what my week has primarily been about, is figuring out whether, what this review came from. But no, I've also got to jump back into Destiny for a little bit to get, I mentioned last week I wanted to jump back in on PC and get the Iron Banner shaders because we had those finishing up last week. And I was actually able to jump on and get some, and it was really fun. Jumped on PS4 too to play with my favorite Dead Orbit scout rifle, the fast firing one that I want to play with it some more now that I've played with it a little bit. And so I'm excited to play some more.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about Destiny, Hope.
Oh, I want to play with it.
Hope, how was your week, man?
I don't even know anymore. It's
you okay, bud?
I don't know what
it feels like the whole world has let him down.
The truth is out there. I feel like Fox Mulder. Like I know something's going on, but nobody believes me.
He doesn't trust anyone now.
You're like Scully.
I got to say something real quick because me and my wife watched some X-Files episodes a little while ago, and I was trying to get her into it, and she kept mixing up their names, and this is just a random fact, but I think it's so funny, and she would call them Molly and Scolder, and I just thought that was the best.
What's Mollywog doing? Yeah.
Listen, also The X-Files is the best TV show ever.
Dude, it's really good.
I would say don't at me, but instead of that, leave us a comment and a review on iTunes and tell us if you agree.
I'm going on iTunes right now. Screw this shit.
Man, how was your week, man?
My week was good.
No, I'm skipping home.
You lost your chance. My week's a lot better because I now came to the conclusion I'm the only Asian on the podcast today. So I feel like I fully have taken over Triton's mantle.
I don't know. I don't know if you noticed.
Where is that guy?
He's a little sick, a little strep throat.
Yeah, Triton's feeling under today.
I don't know if you noticed in my Discord, Mana. I know you have no reason to go in there, but we had to create. Lego and I had that call we had to take the other day, so we had to create a private voice channel, and so we had to make different roles able to access it. And I wanted all 4 of us to be able to get in. And I have a role, obviously. I believe it is rather be eating tacos than streaming. Lego's is Lego. I don't know. It's something. Triton's is Hove's keeper. And Marcus was like, "Oh, I can't put Mana in unless he has a role." And so we made you the less quiet Asian.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
At least he's not like the sad, sleepy Asian in the corner. Someone described Triton once.
Why is that guy?
Yeah. Disclaimer for anyone who wasn't here: a random person, not random, but like a viewer, not one of us.
A viewer, yeah.
When Triton was quiet and was like over in the corner of the podcast screen, went, "Why is that Asian so sad, and quiet in the corner?"
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, less quiet Asian.
I'll take it. I like it. But yeah, other than that, it's a good. This week's been going good. I completely forgot Iron Banner happened. What, last week? Week before? I went hard into Star Wars and Fortnite. I went really hard in all those. So
yeah. Well, we got some reasons to come back and talk about Destiny this week. That is for sure. But before I want to get into all the Bungie blog update we had, and then we've got the TWAB, and then there's the Bungie podcast and all this other stuff too. But before I do any of that, I just want to get some basic. We haven't had Mav here on in a while, and I do want to get some basic, like, how you feeling about D2, man? Like, what did you think about the story? Maybe like, what's your favorite part about D2 so far? Tell me what you like, man.
Yeah, and tell us what Maverick Jr. thinks too.
So the official names of my children are Mavette and Mav 2.0, not Maverick Jr.
So it can't have been him leaving that review.
It's just not. It's just let it go. Destiny 2 has been awesome, man. I played a lot with. I have a fire team that I game with a lot, which consists of like the Eggplant King, Aubergine King.
Yeah.
Ian Mack, Lalocom, Fishbones. I'm dropping names because they deserve it. But anyways, I game mostly with them, and they've all dropped off since then. So. But we smashed through as much of the story as possible. I still haven't even finished a Warlock yet. I've been taking my time doing grinding, doing as much as I can, and enjoying it. My favorite part so far, I actually don't have one. It sounds terrible, but I don't. I like everything overall.
Yeah,
right. I've enjoyed the faction rallies. I've enjoyed shockingly Iron Banner. I've enjoyed.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't until about a week ago where I actually stopped playing. Where everyone else had already dropped off, and I turned on the game, went into my friends list, and there was actually 0 people there. And I went, okay, there's nothing for me to do here. I'm going off to play No Man's Sky, and that was the end of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's been great. I've enjoyed every second of it.
Play
awesome. With me.
That's really interesting that you bring that up, because I'll bring it up real quick as like a preface to basically the Bungie blog update, because the Bungie podcast was kind of like a supplemental thing to the blog, and I know a lot of people probably haven't had time to listen to that yet, or maybe didn't even know Bungie does their own podcast, but they mentioned it in the TWAB this week, and so if you haven't listened to it, should definitely check it out, because there's Mark Noseworthy, Eric Osborne, Irk, and Luke Smith, and they're just all talking about basically like the reasons why they have been doing things the way that they have, and a lot of the reasons for things that people are mad about, but they're trying to fix. And there's a lot of sincere, like, hey, like we recognize as a developer, basically, like we need to do better with transparency, and like it's almost an apology to fans, like, hey, we recognize the problems you guys are having. We want to do better in these ways. But they also explain like how they recognize some of the things we're missing. And one of the things was what Maverick just said, that we realized that people like have certain things that they like doing. And the reason that people get so passionate and upset about the game when it doesn't have what they want is because they're missing the social aspect of playing with their friends. Like they don't have the reason to get on, and they don't have that time spent playing with their normal fire team because there's not a reason for their fire team to be online. And so they have the attitude that Mav just had, like, get online and play with me. Like, I want to play with my friends, but there's not a reason in the game for them to come, And so they're either moving to other games or just not getting online at all. And I thought that was really interesting for them to bring up on the Bungie podcast itself, and really made a lot of sense to me as to like why people are so passionate right now. And I just thought that was really cool. Did any of y'all get a chance to listen to that Bungie podcast?
I did not.
I did not realize there was a Bungie podcast until everyone, Wenny's the one who told me about it and was explaining some of the details they went over.
Now all our listeners are gone because we just advertised another podcast. So I'm just kidding.
We'll get better information there for sure. Yeah. No, I listened to it. I found it interesting. They went about all the issues with XP and how they had tuned them and then tuned them again, and then realized that after they had tuned them, they didn't actually stick because of an API issue with their systems. And they actually went and explained why things were happening the way they did. And that was kind of crucial to me. But I didn't even read how they said as more of an apology, just like, listen, the way the way I heard it and interpreted the information was, listen, we're doing our best to get to you as best as we can, but we're pushing out a PC. We were pushing out a PC version. We were working on a DLC. We were getting other content out, and things were switching over to the live team. Basically, we're busy. Like, we're really busy, and we're doing our best, but we're really busy. And that's something that everyone should be able to relate to and understand, as far as I'm concerned, right?
And the way that they talked about it too was just very revealing. It wasn't like I feel like it helps us understand as a player, like, where they're coming from. And this transparency is awesome. And they don't do the Bungie podcast like that. Like, it's been like May, like I think they did one last month and one this month, maybe.
I think it's monthly.
Yeah, and so they've been, but I think like the whole point of it, like, it was very, very open and just very transparent. And I feel like more transparent than they've been in the past. And I was really appreciative of it. It made me understand a lot where they're coming from. And I think if you're having trouble, if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh, at some point while we're reading the Bungie blog, you're like, why don't they do this right now or that? If you listen to that, like, I think you'll get a better understanding of where they're at and where they're really trying to meet us where we want them to go. So I thought that was pretty cool.
100%.
Club.
What, Hove?
What? Nothing.
Well, to get this conversation rolling with the Bungie blog, I don't know what's going on with Hove, but
he's still obsessing over Mav Jr. That's what it is.
He is.
Creating conspiracy theories about who comments.
Yeah.
We are going to just dive into the Bungie blog, basically, because there's so much to talk about here. I'm just going to kind of list it out the way that they have it listed out, and we'll kind of talk about this piece by piece. So first up, new systems and rewards. Masterworks weapons are coming. Improved vendor rewards, token legendary shards, and adding armor ornaments for specific tasks. So these are pretty huge things for new things to chase after. I think Masterworks weapons is one that stuck out to me a whole lot. And for those, that hadn't read the Bungie blog yet and are like, what is this? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'll kind of read off here. Masterwork weapons are these legendary versions of, or they're versions of legendary weapons that will drop. They're not like the ones you have now. They're new ones that will drop for you, and they have extra perks on them. Like one, they have like a kill counter that can track PV, like all kills or just Crucible kills. They have the chance, or they'll generate orbs for you and your allies on multi kills, and then they have random weapon stat bonuses that are like randomly selected. So basically,
and rerollable,
a small number of perks that are, or a pool of perks that will basically be added to the weapon randomly. And they haven't explained how you'll re-roll them or any of that kind of stuff yet. But yeah, new perks added to these weapons that will basically change them up, a bit. And if you get a Masterworks legendary or a Masterworks weapon that you already have one that you wanted to transfer to, you can dismantle that Masterworks one, and it will give you like the tools to make a different legendary, a Masterworks weapon. The way that I understand it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
And so it sounds pretty freaking awesome. Like, I'm super excited for this. Like, I know it's not, and I before we get too far into it too, I want to say one more thing about the Bungie podcast. And this was the thing that stuck out to me probably most out of the whole thing, was one of them made a comment that was like, this Bungie blog that we published, like this, or at that time they hadn't even published it yet because they recorded it on Monday and the blog was released on, Tuesday or Wednesday. And yeah, and so they recorded the podcast even before that, and they were like, this blog that we're releasing, all this info, like, we know this isn't going to fix all your problems, but this is a start. And if you like some of these things, we're going to improve on them even more. And I thought it was so interesting because that's similar to the response this blog got from a lot of basically big names in the Bungie community. They were like, this is a start, but we want more. And they basically said that before they even published the post, which I thought was interesting. But what do you guys think about the Masterworks weapons?
I would say before we even get into like specifics,
yeah,
just overall, what's your overall reaction to everything?
Yeah, I think that's a good place. I'll let somebody else go first. I feel like I've been talking forever.
Mav, how about you?
I don't have opinions.
Yes, you do. Yes,
about
just about the entire blog up, like all the changes they're making. Just a brief overview.
Yeah, just a brief overview of the entire blog.
Yeah, no, just what you're like feeling.
Just your basic feeling of what you got
reaction?
So this is the same thing that I was going after when I said I was on Twitter last night, which I don't do. Bungie in general is making an effort. The issue that stands right now is that they've already developed the DLC. They've already developed the next DLC. They're working on fine-tuning things, and as I said, they're transferring teams over, and they're trying to keep people happy at the same time. We're only at the first DLC of Destiny 2. We're not looking at I'm trying not to look at it personally as we're at the fourth or fifth interjection of Destiny in itself. Mm-hmm. Destiny 2 to me is a different game than Destiny 1. It is a totally different beast. And them trying to push things forward, I feel like they've taken their entire team and tried to split them in two to be able to go this way to get the DLC going and go that way to be able to address everyone's issues. So there's no way they're going to be able to make everyone happy. It's impossible.
I was kind of thinking of that, how you were saying, like, it's a whole different game instead of like the fourth or fifth year, like, coming off of D1 is, I like everything that they're saying. I get everything that they're saying, but coming from the long-term Destiny grinders that came from like vanilla D1 that have been playing throughout, like, us and all that, is it too late to switch things up? Will it bring back long-time players? Because I know a lot of people have dipped. A lot of people finally, like, D2 was the end of it. It wasn't enough for them. And I'm just afraid that maybe it might not fill up the pool again. So I hope it does.
That's totally justifiable. And
yeah,
my argument is, if you've invested your time and money into this game, you're going to try and see it out as long as you can, especially someone like me who dropped like a stupid amount of money on a collector's edition that now sits in a glass case over there.
Same.
Right? Yeah, like it is. I've never spent that much on a video game ever, right? I will keep playing this game until at least the end of the second DLC that comes out, and I'm going to give them that opportunity to show me what they're capable of doing. But I'm not remaining negative throughout this entire thing, because negativity does nothing for anyone. So in terms of what they've released, in terms of their blog post and what the TWAB even said today, they're trying to make as many people happy as possible, but they also have to focus on what they have to focus to get Osiris out, and then they can start pushing more fine tuning to make everyone else happy. That's where I stand anyways. That's very general.
So I think where I'm at with it all is like, I wasn't expecting, I guess, all of this so quick. Like, and I know that they've been working on a lot of this, like the masterwork weapons and all this other stuff. I think they even said as much in the Bungie podcast. They were like, we've been working on this stuff for a while. We just weren't sure if it was going to be able to go right away. And that's why, all of a sudden we're announcing all this stuff, because it's literally up to the last second we're putting these things out and making sure they're good to go. And like, I'm just impressed with the amount of things. Even as I was writing it down in preparation for this podcast, I was like, oh my gosh, this is an exhaustive list of things that they're trying to do to make the game better for people who want to have it as a hobby. And the list, this Bungie blog, and combined especially with the podcast that Bungie put out together, make me very excited for the future of Destiny. For me, as someone who likes to have Destiny as a hobbyist game, not just a like tourist game as they described. Like it's not like I'm just going to come and play it for a little bit and leave. No, I'm here to make it like the thing that I want to come back to every day. And so in that way, I'm really excited for the future of it, because now I think they're really aiming at pleasing that crowd. Whereas opposed to when they first launched Destiny 2, they were more targeted towards the tourist, basically. The person who just wanted to pick it up, play it, and have a good experience. And they said so as much. And I know that's disappointing for us, who we don't want, we wanted a game that we can invest in. And so I'm excited that they're heading in that direction now. So that's how I feel about it. I feel really positive. I have the same concerns as Mana, I hope that everybody who's leaving comes back. But yeah, I guess we'll see. For me personally, though, I'm very positive.
Sorry. Let me just add to that. To Mena's point, the people who have left, I don't think they've truly left. I don't know anyone who's actually truly left the game. When they start hearing that, oh look, there's a shiny gold box in the game now, they're going to come back, right? I don't know anyone who's left Destiny and never. Yeah, I don't know anyone who's left Destiny and has not come back. My brother, for example, played Destiny 1 up until Crota, and then gave up. He's back in Destiny 2, right?
But my most concern is they might come back. They probably will come back, but will they stay? Will they stay with it or go back, revert into the back? It's not worth my time. There's nothing left to do. That's my biggest concern. I'm just hoping there's something to bring him back and hold him back, like D1 did. Something to just keep on going, jump into some sort of something with their friends, regrind it out. I don't know. I just feel like for a lot of people, maybe I'm just poking at all the negativity that I saw on the forums and stuff like that. A lot of people are complaining over the past, I don't know, a couple years now that Destiny, yada yada. Maybe I'm just looking too much at that and not at all the people that are, just like us, what we're doing, what we're suggesting or expressing our concerns and all that. So I'm not sure. I'm just hoping.
If you all stop ditching me and going to PUBG and just came to Destiny and carried my ass through trials, then everyone would have a great time.
It'd be great.
Well, I really think the big kind of test as far as, people leaving and coming back or staying gone, it's a long way away, but I don't think you'll really see it until after the second DLC going into the big, whatever next year. Because you got to think there's a lot of people that bought, the hype was real. There's a lot of people that bought the season passes, bought the DLCs already. So they're going to come back, even if they play it for a week and go, this still sucks. So I think the numbers after the second DLC going into, next year's big expansion will really, unless it completely tanks between now and then obviously if it tanks, it tanks. But I'm not saying that's going to happen. But I don't think you'll get a really true sense of it until then. But my initial reaction to all the stuff in that blog post as a whole, and this isn't as negative as it sounds, but it's just meh.
Toxic.
No.
Look,
hear me out.
No, I'm just kidding.
I think everything in there, almost everything, is good.
Uh-huh.
And I have no complaints, but there wasn't anything in there that was that you didn't see coming, or that was really.
So explain to me what would be the item, not to be the argumentative bastard that I am, but what would be the thing that would make you go, oh my god, this is amazing?
I don't know. That's not for me to figure out. If it's something that I've already said, like, this is what should happen, then it's not going to be something that really, like, oh my God, like, they did this. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've talked about it before, you know, like, it's when they come out with something that out of left field, and we're like, wow, that's a really cool idea. You know, if it's stuff, and most of this stuff, for the most part, was at least some variation of something that we've asked for, which is great. That's what I mean. This isn't a complaint. It's great that they're doing a lot of this stuff, but it's all just kind of like, okay, yeah, that should have been there. We've been asking for that. Yeah, that's a cool idea. That'll be cool for now. But was there really anything in there that you were like?
I retract my previous statement.
Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's not anything surprising. It's just like, oh, okay, you're doing something that should, you know,
right.
Okay.
There was nothing in there that really was like,
it was like,
just
oh, that was
mind-blowing or like, wow.
Yeah.
Is the transparency of it all surprising to you? Like, maybe transparency is the wrong word, because there's a lot of things we don't know still, obviously. Maybe just the fact that, like, the amount of information that they gave us, you know, like, I feel like all of this stuff and all of these specific times that these things are coming out, even though there are some things that are next year sometimes, there's a lot of things that December 5th, you get this. December 12th, you get this.
No, I mean, it's almost the same kind of reaction for me. Because it's one of those things like, yeah, there should have been this transparency.
Gotcha.
But, like, they had to. So you knew it had to happen if they were going to continue to push this game. Or people were going to explode. Like, everyone's heads... Did you ever see Kingsman at the end? When everyone's head explodes? That's what was going to happen to the entire Bungie community if this didn't happen. So do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not so... They'd be all colorful, and theuld be like...
I'm a very visual person, and that was hilarious in my head.
Everyone's just like, Bungie, why?
Yeah.
I don't know why I heard
yeah. So no, it's not surprising to me. It is in a way because they haven't done it, but it isn't because you kind of knew it had to happen.
Yeah,
it had to.
What's a little surprising though is not only did they come out and say all these changes that they're planning on doing, but they're also planning on doing a portion of this later this month.
That was surprising a little bit.
Yeah. They're trying to speed this stuff up too. They're like, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this now, you know?
Yeah. That was the one thing that, like, probably the thing that surprised me the most, because, I mean, this Masterworks weapons thing, like, we've talked about versions of this basically before, you know, on this cast of, like, and other podcasts have too, of what they would want for more grindy weapon stuff. But and something else we've talked about, but I just didn't think would come right. Like, they would announce it like, hey, yes, it's happening, is ranked PvP. Like, they're like, they like officially announced, like, we're moving this to the top of our list. We're going to do it.
I think that's going to be the biggest be careful what you wish for on the whole list, though.
You think it's going to just take forever, or it's not going to look like what we think we want it to be?
Maybe neither, maybe both. My point being, they're not getting dedicated servers. It's still going to be peer-to-peer. There's still going to be DDoSing now with people trying to play for something. And you're going to have, unless they change matchmaking to be some sort of like regional or, you know, country-based, it's still, if it's that strongly like skill-based, you're going to run into that, you know, Mana being the best player in the country is going to be playing, you know, TK over in Australia.
Yeah.
I still remember all the hate mail he got playing with me.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's to be careful what you wish for. Yeah, rank sounds good on the surface, and it's something I've you know, not championed. I guess I'm not that excited about it, but like, it's something that I've discussed I would like too. But in the game's current state, I don't know how well it's going to go over.
I mean, I guess it all comes back down to the player pool filling back up, and hopefully we don't hit that problem of finding people everywhere around the world immediately, you know, for ranked. So I don't know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs still, you know. I'm looking forward, but like Hove is, he's like, watch out, you know, it could.
Yeah, the one thing that was a little bit surprising to me, and I guess I will, you know, eat my words on this one. It wasn't really a complaint or anything, but I said a few episodes ago when Chris Barrett put out that list of things that they were going to work on that they used for this, and I specifically, you know, cautioned that the only thing on that entire list that they gave any sort of time frame for was private matches being early 2018, and I said if that's the best they're willing to give us. Don't expect anything before then. And some of this stuff is being addressed before then. Not wholeheartedly, not wholeheartedly, not completely. They said that it's kind of Band-Aids, but I am surprised that they're going to at least touch some of this stuff.
Later this month,
next week?
Up.
Yeah, next week, some of it, and the week after that for the rest of it.
So they're just trying to compete with PUBG.
Some coming in with the DLC, and then a couple weeks after that, they're going to be doing some more, and then early spring is the next that we're thinking. Like, there's no definitive.
Well, not necessarily spring. They said early 2018. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because like we've talked about spring, we kind of go spring. We kind of talk about the seasons by the weather, but when companies mention the seasons, they're talking by day.
Yeah, I guess.
So that would be middle, end of March. And I think early 2018 to me signals as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like as soon as they have it ready, basically. So all that said, let's jump into the Masterworks thing that I was talking about earlier.
I keep thinking you're going to say Master Race.
I keep on thinking Master Sword.
Well, it makes me think of, I think...
Matt keeps thinking masturbation.
I'm thinking about.
Yep,
Yeah,
see, I told you.
I've got it.
Well, Dan Drumstone will appreciate this because I keep thinking of Pearl has a drum set that's called like its Masterworks set, and so that's what I keep thinking of every time I hear it. But Masterworks, so there are these new weapons that are like legendary weapons, but have all this extra stuff on it. What did y'all think about it? I think it's pretty great. I think like something else to grind for. I'm curious how you get the extra stuff on it. Like how do you get the whatever extra weapon bonus stat is put on there, and there's a small pool and it's rerollable. Like I hope you have to work for it. Like I hope.
So it's just one perk that could be added on. Is it just like once, or can you master work maybe? So there's a pool of randomized perks. So I'm looking at it right now. I kind of just skimmed through this. I didn't really read it. So it is completely randomized. It's not just one where it says like the one they have the picture where it says the reload speed. Oh, this says reload speed and orbs on kill, and it shows enemies killed. But that's pretty cool. I didn't see that.
Yeah, so the two things are constant. You always will generate orbs with multi-kills. That's always on a Masterworks gun, and it's always going to count the kills for you. And you can choose just Crucible if you're a PvP player, or you can choose for everything. So you can do PvE kills too, I guess.
That's kind of cool.
And not only that, but they mentioned somewhere in the blog that they're going to work on making this even better to where like that kill count will show even like maybe in the in-game screen of a Crucible match, like where it'll show like you killed so many people with this gun, or whether that's total or that game, I don't know, but they're doing special things with those guns.
Now, is that the only randomizable perk, or is there another thing for randomizable perks for the weapons?
I think that's the only one.
This is the addition of randomized perks. I thought someone else was talking about. I thought I heard that for the what was it called? There's some sort of forge or something for the weapons.
Oh,
that's what they're reflecting. Curse of Osiris weapons or whatever, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think this is kind of goes in junction with forging as well.
Yeah,
I guess
like that.
I mean, I guess there would be Masterworks version of those new weapons, but I think the forging was just, I think that was something, like you said, that was splitting off into two. I think the forging thing was coming with Curse of Osiris, and I think this was kind of their Band-Aid for grinds and different weapons. Yeah. That's how I took it.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh, I can see that now.
But
so I'm assuming there could and will be Masterworks versions of those weapons, but do you know what I mean?
The only thing that I wish, and I'm going to kind of jump into another topic here, and that is I mentioned, in these new things to chase, one of them is new ornaments, and the ornaments for armor, that is, will be acquired from specific activities, and that's kind of what we've been asking for. Give us strike specific. It's not necessarily strike specific loot, but it's like activity specific loot. So Crucible, maybe it's they listed them out. It was basically like the typical stuff.
It was
Crucible,
a lot of things. It was a big list.
Yeah, New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, like all the different factions basically have their own, and so that's good. But I wish that I wish the weapons would come from specific things, not just the armor. And that's my one, like, I wish it was this way. But I'm glad that they're making improvements to some of it coming from specific stuff.
Well, I wonder if this might. Sorry, I wonder if this might have like a past podcasts, you guys have said over and over again, it'd be really cool if you had like for actually it might not have even been I'm pretty sure Hope said this once. If you had like multiple better devils, deleted multiple better devils, right? I'm wondering if that's the type of currency required to change out.
I hope so.
Re-roll your whatever the hell the thing is. I'm really
the re-rollable perk thing, whatever it is that extra perk is.
I think I read up too.
If it is, I want a commission.
Take your current weapon and then make it the Masterworks, right? Like there's something to make it into. Is that the Forge? Maybe that goes along with the Forge too, or is that completely just?
I think that's they were just saying. Say you get a Masterworks weapon of a weapon you don't care about. You can delete that, and it gives you something that will allow you to turn one of your regular legendaries into a Masterworks.
Oh, so you have to get a Master.
I'll read the script. It says unwanted Masterworks can be dismantled into materials that can upgrade an existing legendary weapon into a Masterwork.
Okay.
I like it. One perk is better than none. At least and this is probably one of those things, like you said, Lego, that they said they've been working on it for a while, but it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Because you remember, everyone kind of got on Luke Smith's shit after a few weeks when he said, "What makes your 10th better devil better than the rest?" That's something we need to figure out and something we're working on. And while this isn't drastic, it could make them different. I just hope people don't think, because I see people saying like, "Oh, this is a start to getting." Random rolls. As much as I want random rolls, it ain't coming. They would have to completely rebalance everything the way the game
They already
is.
got the base down. They can't switch things up too much. They'll have to take every brick out, rearrange it, place it back down. There's no way.
The only way you might see that ever in D2, I would think, would be, next year's D2 Taken King type of thing, where maybe they rework everything like they did with the light and leveling system in D1. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen, but it wouldn't be before
I still don't think that's not something they could do until Destiny 3.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just too integrated into the systems. You can't just modify that with a control alt.
I feel like they would have to take a portion of their dedicate a portion of their team to rewire everything, and then it'd be a huge underworking to change all that already.
It'd be like a masterworking.
Master what is that? A master what? Say it again. Go ahead.
So you know how when you're recording, you get the little bars that show you when you're making noise?
Yeah.
When I said masterworking, my little bars looked like a sheep.
Wait, what? What are we talking about?
Did you just go straight from Destiny to bestiality in one sentence?
Know.
Is that what I just heard?
It's the equivalent to watching the clouds and seeing shapes, except you're seeing them in audio files, which is a whole nother level of crazy.
Sorry.
Fuck you. But no, I agree. I don't think it is going to happen.
That just flew over my head. I still don't. What? Sheep?
Nothing.
I don't know. I know what he's saying, but I can't
think
explain it.
I don't
Smile
think
and nod, man. Smile
you guys get so off topic. I'm just here trying to talk about Destiny, and you guys are talking about sheep and shit. Let me be. Let me live my life.
Let's go after
that beer right now.
What he thinks about your sheep.
Who? Oh, fuck you.
Okay, what are you trying to get at here?
No, I was just gonna say, I just wanted to point out that I've seen so many people mention this is a step towards random rolls or whatever. It's not going to happen.
Oh, okay. See, I would have agreed with you completely, because after listening to Crucible Radio interviewed John Wisniewski and one other guy whose name is Claude Jerome, and
subclasses.
Yeah, and they talked about basically a lot about static weapon rolls at one point during the cast, and I was in my head as I was listening to it, this is before the blog post came out, and I was like, oh, we're never getting any kind of re-rollable thing. And then the blog post came out, and there's a little bit of re-rolling in it, in these Masterworks weapons. I'm like, oh.
Does that make you think these perks aren't going to really be that big?
I don't know. They've got to do something.
I feel like they have to hit it, because everyone was kind of underwhelmed with the mods, and that they already addressed that they got to rework the mod system.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's a difficult thing for them to do at all, just to throw in some different mods and go at it, right?
It's a matter of testing them, and they talked about that a lot. I think, both those podcasts, just about how much testing is important to them, and sometimes they take risks and put things out before completely testing it. But for the most part, there's a lot of testing involved whenever they create new mods and stuff like that.
Also, if they do something like a whole bunch of different mods that do all these different things. I mean, doesn't that almost introduce a lot of the problems you'd see with random rolls? Like if this gun already has really good range or whatever, and I put range mods on it or whatever, assuming it's something like that, I mean, that could create some of the same problems. So that's another thing that they can't just go all out and give you all these different mods, because then it's just like getting rid of
they can isolate. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was about to say maybe breaking the game for a portion would be better for the game, as long as we don't see 6-month-long metas like we did before. As long as they're not like extremely annoying metas that lasted that long, maybe it'd actually be good for the game. Have people work for that super OP, something that we were used to back then.
You're talking about last word 1,000-yard stare. I don't know what you mean.
1,000-yard stare wasn't even that good. It was just the only archetype of that. Sorry, that was something that always drove me nuts. Remember when everyone complained about it till they?
Yes.
It wasn't any better than any other sniper.
Yeah,
I want my over piercing, my wall banging like through walls and stuff. I want that back.
I agree.
I want a perk where
I was so mad when they took that out, because it was such a random, like you can't predict that happening most of the time.
There's no aim. It's not like you're locking on through him through the wall. You're just like, I think he's here. Then you get the headshot. You're like, whoo!
I love that. That is so cool. Okay, so we've also got armor ornaments, which I mentioned just a second ago. Those are coming actually before the Masterwork stuff. This is coming on December 5th. We're getting armor ornaments unlocked by completing specific objectives. They're permanently unlocked account-wide, just like exotic weapon ornaments, and they'll be able to be applied to base pieces that you already have collected and can now unlock on vendors if not. It even says in the title of it, in the armor ornaments will be added to some existing armor sets for more visual customization. It says without losing your shaders or mods. So it's like basically what we would think, I think.
I mean, I don't know. That was what I was going to ask you. How do you think that's going to work, that it's not going to make your choice of shader like moot? Like, what do you think it's really going to do?
I mean, it has to be something that's very flary, like the Iron Banner ones that had the flames and stuff like that. I feel like it has to be something like that.
Do you think there'll be more like extra geometry as opposed to color changes?
Yes.
I mean, maybe we're looking at like holographic Pokemon cards, where it's like not only does it look cooler, but it's a little flashy at the same time.
I want some holographic armor.
It's a shiny. We get shiny armor sets now.
I love shiny things.
Look, there goes glitter mana. Glitter mana.
Hey, let's.
I would don it like a little cloud pouring glitter down on me, running around. Yo, I'd be all about that.
We can't talk about Star mode.
Scientists are trying to ban glitter.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's all over the news now.
I don't want to get off on this. This is going to go somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's go back to ornaments.
Lego gets off on glitter?
Is anyone concerned that this is going to turn... What?
So
is anyone concerned that this is going to turn to something that's similar to Chroma, where we just had Chroma building up in our vault? And
I don't think so, because once you have it for good.
About Chroma.
And so the way they're talking about it, it's more like exotic ornaments where it drastically changes something. But we're gonna get to keep our shaders, so that makes me think it's more like, in the end of Destiny 1, all the raid gear got special things that the effects that those had. It'd be more like that, I think, where they're really fancy, but you still keep the base whatever it is that you have.
You're fancy.
I hope they're like. Maybe they'll take it like the exotic emotes. Maybe they'll just have like little holographic things on you too. Like, I want my guy to look like a holographic cat person. I'll have like a little tail. Like,
have you been talking to Miss 5000 Watts?
Sounds like you've been talking to Rex.
Yeah, that's something both of them would want.
I watched a couple anime. They always have cat women. I don't know, man. It's.
We're finding out what man is really into.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Like a holographic tail? You just walk around. What is that guy?
Can I tell you a quickly funny story that's completely has nothing to do with anything, but it made me laugh?
Yes.
So when you just said cat women, it made me think of Catwoman, which then made me think of Batman, which then made me think that one of my employees today came into work and he had lost his voice and it was real rough and like low. And I told him that anytime he had to buzz for my assistant manager, she's a woman, I said as soon as he buzzes, he has to yell, "Where is she?" every time.
Where are the drugs?
Where's Anita?
Rachel? Is this Rachel? Was her name Rachel? Because I would have made it.
No, it's Anita.
Oh, that would have been so good.
But that's all. That's the end of my story. It made me laugh a lot. And then his voice kind of started to come back. and I told him he wasn't Batman
and then
anymore.
He got fired.
He was just Bruce Wayne. And he said,
Rachel?
He said, I'll probably lose it again at night. And I said, that's perfect because then you can be Batman again. Okay, I'm done. I'm so sorry.
well, we're already talking about mods, so
I don't know. Sorry.
They mentioned like that they were going to do more work on mods, but I don't think they really said like this year. That was one of the other like things to work on for the future, I think.
I think they said next year, actually.
Yeah, mod economy changes. This will improve throughout the year is like basically the notes. And then
that's expected.
They also said December 5th, which is really soon, Banshee has some updates on the weapon and armor mod front. And so you can basically have more options for getting the legendary mods that you want. Like right now, a kinetic mod, legendary mod is like so difficult to get. Like that's the one thing I don't have on all of my guns, you know? And so there'll just be easier ways to get that stuff. That's not really any huge game change, you know, it's just like a nicety that we get. But I am excited that they're going to be working on the mod system later on. Let's see. We covered the ornaments. They said improved vendor rewards, tokens, and legendary shards. So that's something that I can't remember. Is that coming right away or in a little bit?
I think it's coming right away.
Actually, no, it says December 12th for faction armor and weapons will be unlocked for purchase of legendary shards and faction tokens. So some of it's coming not right away because this says December 12th is when you can purchase things at the vendors for your legendary shards or tokens. And this is also when Xur is going to have new stuff as well, which that's something we didn't talk about. But all of this is coming. Yeah, we'll get into it. December 12th. So first, the tower, the vendors, how they're going to have all 5 armor slots will always be present, and weapons will rotate weekly on factions, and that you'll be able to buy with your legendary shards or faction tokens. And so, yeah, it'll be like it'll be like vendors of the old tower where you can go and buy weapons.
So it's like it should have been.
Do you think that? That's what I want to know what y'all think. Do you think this is?
In terms of the vendors themselves having their armor, for example, now being able to be purchased, you can actually just walk up and be like, "I want that chest plate." The fact that you can do that now, I feel, has its pros and cons. It's nice the fact that I can now walk up to Saladin and get the damn chest plate that I've been waiting for from Iron Banner forever that I still can't get. But then again, now I have no reason to grind.
Yeah. But the difference is they also say here, slots will be unlocked by claiming reward engrams from the respective faction. And I put in parentheses just because it helped me understand it. It's like a rank, basically. It's just not listed. Maybe it will list it. I don't know. But basically, you know, like for Iron Banner, if the season resets, we won't have all the engrams we turned in before. So you won't be able to purchase those armor pieces until you've turned in so many engrams. Then you can buy them. So you still have to grind. It's just you'll actually get what you want at the end of the grind for a cost. And I think that that's a great... If they make the price high enough, then it's going to be a good in-between between the new and old systems.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm just yes.
I saw Hove's mouth move, but I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I was muted. I said, yeah. That's what I said.
Oh, okay, so we're all kind of just like one word.
I was opening it back up just to take a quick look, but I'm relying on the image that they're providing, and the image, everything's kind of darkened out in the image, so it's possible that you have to rank up whatever, but then I guess they must be tracking that to a certain degree, like how many packages have I opened for Vanguard, right?
And they said you will get credit for engrams you may have already claimed since launch. So if you've turned in a ton at PvP, Crucible vendor, Shaxx, then you will be able to purchase any of the Crucible stuff you want. However, if since the beginning of the game you haven't done any Nightfalls and you've done no strikes...
Who's done no Nightfalls or strikes?
Hove. Then
I've done 3 or 4.
Then you won't be able to buy Vanguard armor sets because you haven't done enough yet. So I think that's like it's going to make Hove go do that activity, and that's great. That's what we're asking for, reasons.
Nobody makes Hove do anything.
They give you reasons to go do it, though, which is what we're wanting.
And I like that. Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah. I agree.
I dig it.
I'm excited for that. I didn't think that was a change I was going to like. When I first saw, I was like, oh, you can buy what you want. Then like Mav, I was like, well, there's no reason to go do it anymore. You'll just have everything you want. You just buy it all with the infinite legendary shards we have available to us right now. But it looks like you're actually going to need to go do that activity, which I think is great.
Especially we've been grinding like crazy because none of your clan mates are on the game anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about. I play every day.
The other week, I did a raid.
I play on PC.
I was very disappointed. Yeah, I was on PC doing the raid, and I was very disappointed I didn't get to unlock the raid engram because I needed half the raid party to be resolute. They all got something. And I was like, why did I get something? And he's like, oh, that's because you don't have enough resolute. I was like, oh, come on. I want to be that one guy who's like, don't worry, guys, I got it.
I got this for y'all, yeah.
I was very disappointed.
Okay, well, let's talk about Xur for a second, because this is something I think Hove frowned upon.
I don't want to.
So we're going to talk about it because Hove doesn't want to, and that's going to be great. Xur on December 12th, same time as all the tower stuff, the vendors get updated to buy stuff. Xur has new offerings for players collecting exotics. Every week you'll be able to acquire one of the new faded engrams. So there's this new faded engram you can buy from Xur using legendary shards that will decrypt as exotics that aren't already in your collection. So no duplicates.
Didn't that used to just be called Smart Loot?
Smart Loot. You can call it Smart Loot or a faded engram. Same thing. And then he'll also have a simpler version of 3 of coins that boosts exotic drop rates.
I'm not liking this stuff though.
Yeah, that's about it. There's some rules on it, like no obscure stacking. So you just it works basically the same as what's
like
the
fire team medallion?
The fire team medallions. Yeah, using those.
Why Bungie?
That there reduces grind.
Yes.
I know. I understand the duplication and all that. It gets frustrating after a while. I do admit, because I still have a couple exotics I've yet to get. I got 1 million like cold hearts. I've gotten a ton of cold hearts, and it sucks because it came with the game. Wow,
the game's trying to tell you something, man.
Wow. Am I that bad? Anyways. I think it would be better if they said, like, you can only do this once per week or something, you know? Like, we talked about it before, how if you put a limit, then you can't just be like, oh, I got 16 million, legendary shards. I'm just going to drop, just get everything.
This is kind of not even the tip of the iceberg. This is a big part of the stuff that I didn't like in this. They talked about, even in there, I think at the beginning and kind of the prologue, about they've realized that this is something we want to be a hobby. It's something we want to keep doing. We want to keep playing, and they're doing all this stuff that we asked for. And then one of the things we really, 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 really asked for was more grind, more things to get, make it more not harder, but just make us have to play to get these things. And then they were like, here, we're going to make it even easier to get exotics. And when you get them, they're going to be ones you don't already have, and you're going to get everything really fast. What?
Okay, I want to take the other side of this.
No, there is no other side.
Not just because it's Hove, but I really do think that there's another side to this. And that is that a lot, you're describing a good bit of people, obviously, who want more grind. But there's also quite a good bit of angry people on Reddit who have several posts about Iron Banner and duplicate exotics that they're getting in the game, and Iron Banner giving them duplicate things, like all these different ways.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it is annoying.
So let me just finish real quick, Hope, before I can see you wanting to fight it. And so they're asking for this way to do things, and I think the way to do it, where it would be appropriate to I guess basically get what you want versus the time that you're putting into the game, is by making these things extremely expensive, which is what they appear to have done. Because if you look at the screenshot that they put of it, it's 97 legendary marks, which I think do you max out legendary marks at 999, or do y'all know? I think so.
Wait, do you really?
I could be wrong, but
I'm pretty sure you do.
I feel like I've heard that. I'm not sure, but 97 marks for, even if you have it maxed out, that's you could buy 10 exotics. like you would have played enough to have earned them. And so I'm not saying I like the system. I'm just saying that for those people who are complaining about duplicates, exotics, this is the way to have that not have it. And it's still really expensive. 97 legendary marks is a lot, I feel like. Even though I have a ton right now.
Why 97?
I don't know. That's just what it is.
95.
Maybe it goes up every time you purchase.
Ooh, or
maybe
that.
That's why it's at 97.
Let's be honest.
Maybe it would be a good way to
it would be a good
limit.
I like that.
So maybe it started off at like 50 and
like
then
PUBG
like
loot boxes.
And then
yes.
Exactly. Also, I just want to say I have 2,200 legendary shards.
And maybe per week.
Oh, so it does not cap at 999.
Like PUBG. And so like per week, if you purchase one faded engram from Xur, then the next one's 200 legendary marks if you do it that week or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, well, I see that complaint and I get it. My thing is, and they've done this before on things, it seems like there were two, probably more, but two possible ways to alleviate the issue of not getting things you want, getting duplicates. And they just threw both of them at us. Like, okay, either give us something like 3 of coins or whatever that greatly increases your chance at getting, we'll just talk about exotics. That greatly increases your chance of getting exotics. So maybe you get 10 exotics in your 2-hour play session. And yeah, maybe 4 or 5 of them are still duplicates, but then that's 4 or 5 new ones.
Yeah.
Or get rid of duplicates with faded engrams. But now you're saying, okay,
both.
You're doing both. You're going to get a whole bunch more, and they're all going to be new. How long is that going to be sustainable?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like that there's two either. And I was really expecting in the 3 of coins slot for Xur how he has extra stuff now, and it's basically 3 of coins. I was really hoping it would be like, here's extra stuff you can buy for your, your Sparrow. Or your,
give us the stupid shit like to change the color of your Sparrow trail. Give us the stupid stuff like that. I will spend all the things. I am a child. I'm a 32-year-old child. I'm like Jack. Did you ever see that movie?
Have sword skin.
As I get older, I become more immature. You can probably tell if you've listened to this podcast for a year, Mav.
No idea what you're talking about.
Okay. See?
Never heard of you before.
Mav, what do you think about the Xur stuff?
I've never heard of you before.
I think, what the fuck? I don't. I'm running on like very little sleep, and I'm doing my very best to stay awake and not pee my pants. So, moving forward,
just wear Depends like Rowdy.
We're all adult children.
I am. 3 of coins, I feel, is never a good thing. The only people that 3 of coins are actually in any way good for are the what was the term they gave them? Super tourists.
Yeah.
Just because they're not in the game like enough to be able to enjoy trying the grind enough to get those exotics. Now, the grind is why we're here. We enjoy having a goal, and if we don't have a goal to push towards, then we have a hard time with anything. If I'm getting pushed on, I'm going to get all my exotics in 3 weeks, a month. Okay, I can't hunt for ships. I can't hunt for sparrows like I did in Destiny 1, which I don't know about you guys. I did that. I went and got every single sparrow, even the ones you had to make, right? Like
make sparrows.
Yeah, you had to combine sparrows to get and then you had to get.
Which I love that.
Engines to make the legendary sparrows.
I made one pimp in one, and I
did that.
Stopped.
Same. That was my favorite one, though. I was so attached to that sparrow because I had to make it. It was so expensive from Xur.
I was like green and yellow with like a trail, and I was just like, "Whew, this is the one." I'm not.
Yeah. So this is a thing that I've noticed in Reddit. I've seen it. I've heard it in other podcasts. I've watched it in videos. Everyone said the same thing. It's more of they want to have just something to do. They want a goal to drive towards. And it can be the dumbest mundane goal in the world, but they just want a goal. And as it stands right now, our end game goal wasn't really an end game goal. It was, oh, look, we've killed some fat dude on a chair and got some armor. Yeah.
I have 2 things
I agree.
I'm really excited about.
What's
ready?
that? Yeah.
One's not excited, but it had something to do with what Mav said. Mundane, stupid things. I want to say this is Slayer. I heard talking about this.
I was just about to. Yeah.
Him and Dado, the number.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He said him and Dado talk about what they just call number. And all it is a number on your screen. And as you do things, it just goes up. It doesn't have to be level. It doesn't have to be anything. And people will fucking grind for it. And that is absolutely true. He said it doesn't have to have a name. It doesn't have to mean anything. It's just number. And it just goes up.
They're kind of testing that with the Masterworks weapon. Now you have a thing that tracks your kills, and it's just going to go up, and you'll see it every time.
Now, do you know what you know what the next step in that is? Make that number unlock skins or something as you get to 100, 1,000, 1,000,000.
I agree.
8 trillion, a gajillion.
Please.
Okay.
A stupid number. You get something that no one's ever seen before, but no one knows it exists until that one person gets it. Yeah. And then everyone's going to see it and be like,
yes,
well, let's get in there.
The other kicker was with exotics itself, and I've heard this several times now, is everyone keeps asking the question. I think actually Briar was the one who started this. Everyone keeps asking the question, what's your favorite exotic? Well, where'd you get it from?
Oh yeah,
oh, yeah.
No,
I'm so big on that. Oh,
I'm huge about story. This is why I went back to Horizon Zero Dawn today, and why I play the Uncharted's, and I go through. I'm so massive on storylines. You catch me in the storyline, you can have the shittiest graphics in the world, and I'll still love the game. But if I don't remember what I did in that game, I played Prototype 2. I love the game. I love the gameplay. I can tell you what happened in that story at all. I just remember that the guy sweared a lot. The story was terrible, but there was things to do in the game. So you have the inverse of the two. Either give me something to do, or at least let me remember what I was so good at doing. That's it.
We're big proponents of like getting exotics to actually drop in the activity you're doing, so you'll remember what it was you got it from. That's a change I would love to see.
If you had to ask me like one thing that excited me and makes me think of Destiny 1, it's the little fucking exotic emblem that would pop like icon. And it would make that like ching sound, and it would spin, and you'd go, "Oh my god, Gallarhorn!" Like that was like the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's like gambling slots.
Okay, my 3 of coins idea.
I don't agree with that conversation.
Other than get rid of 3 of coins, so we want something to grind for, right?
Yeah,
and we want less duplicate exotics. We want to get new ones, right? So what about you can't buy them, but maybe they're like milestones. Every week, 10 strikes, you get a 3 of coins.
Then you'll never get a 3 of coin.
I don't need them. Whatever it may be, 10 PvP matches, a raid completion, and there's like a max of say 3 or 5 or 10 or whatever they decide the economy would be. So you have to kind of a small grind to get one of those 3 of coins, and then they have like this 4-hour whatever period, half hour, 4 hours period of increased exotic drops that are going to be faded and not ones you have.
Yeah.
But it completely stops I'm just going to buy a bunch of these and get everything. You have to play the game to get these to then get
the argument for that is I feel like I'm just arguing to argue, but the argument, the other side of that is the legendary, shards that we have, they played to get those. I get what you're saying though. You want direct objectives to do per week.
I'm just saying that for 3 of coins because of my point of view of either the faded engrams are good where we don't get duplicates, or a really increased chance of exotics, not both. So in this case, I would be okay with both if you severely limit the number of 3 of coins.
Yeah.
So let me propose something that's kind of totally different than what you're saying. But what was the thing you always said about jumping onto a map and you'd be like, oh, there's a public event, and before you knew it, time had flown by and you'd been on the map for 2 hours and hadn't done the thing you wanted to do?
Yeah.
So let's say they reintroduce Yalahorn, and they reintroduce it in a capacity where you have to grind to get the Yalahorn, and to do so, you have to go to a Nightfall 5 times over 5 weeks. And in the interim of those items, you have to stop and go to a public event at one point throughout that week, and then you have to go here or you have to go there. Not specific days, just that on week 1 you have to complete that Nightfall, and you have to hit this public event at some point. Week 2 you have to hit this Nightfall, and you have to complete the first room of the raid or whatever it might be. And you have a progression, very simple things to do, but you have to do them over the course of 5 weeks. The question is, would you go back to the game for that?
I mean, Gallarhorn specifically, maybe not. But if there was something like
it's an example,
right? No, I know that's
ice
yes.
something new and flashy.
Absolutely, I think that would be great.
I think I'd do it too. Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's a very simple thing for them
exactly.
to do.
Simplistic, but you just have the time limit of that week. Well, say if you don't do that, then does it reset and you have to go week by week again? Or
so it's just a number tracked per user, right? So all they have to do is just say, Mana did week 1, but he hasn't done week 2 yet. So the next time he goes in that Nightfall and completes it, he gets the thing for that week 2.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Right? It's not like you're going to miss your week and well, I got to wait for week 2 to come across again.
They did stuff like that in D1 with it was wait for reset and talk to this vendor, and that was the reset point.
What was the exotic pulse rifle that was like the Stranger's rifle? No Time to Explain?
No Time to Explain, yeah.
That was similar to that. Do the Vault of Glass, the special Vault of Glass, and then go talk to so-and-so. And then
there was like Black Spindle. You had to wait until a certain time to do the secret portion of the
Dude,
Nightfall.
That's my favorite. All-time favorite was that.
The secret exotic. That might be my all-time favorite right there.
Yeah, that's not to get into this topic, but that's something that I'm really disappointed that didn't come back. Some sort of hidden, time-gated exotic.
But then again, maybe no one found it yet.
That's true. I always think about that.
We're still pretty early.
Because everybody quit playing?
Oh, too soon. Toxic, putting you on Reddit right now.
We're talking about the exotic stuff. There's one other exotic thing that came up, and that's the...
Is she a dancer?
This is also coming December 12th. Commander Zavala and Lord Shaxx will sell gift consumables for legendary shards that can be used during Strike or Crucible match that will serve the following functions. Grant bonus rewards to everyone in the activity upon completion, friend or foe alike, which that's interesting. And then award anything from faction tokens to a round of exotics for everyone in the match. So
more exotics.
I know it's not what we want. I know it's more, but the thought of completing a Crucible match and everyone on your team and everyone on the opponent team all get exotics at the same time, like I feel like people would lose their minds. Like it would be I know
they would lose their minds the first time that happened, and then they wouldn't anymore.
I hate that idea as a base thing, but I cannot wait for the first time some douchebag's bagging me and then sends me some hate message about what an asshole I am, and then I get like the Gallarhorn or whatever I really want, and I go, yeah, well, thanks for the exotic, douchebag. Yeah, you bagged me. Fuck you.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like this is I know it's not what we want, but I love the idea of this. Like, just how it's something that everybody gets. I don't know. It just sounds awesome. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Maybe they don't mean PvP. Maybe they mean...
I mean, they do. They mean PvE too. Like it
maybe
could be a
friend or foe. Maybe you're gonna like do something, and this cabal's gonna roll down with cold heart and fuck you up.
You're going to see the NPCs that you're killing get an exotic and flash it in front of your face.
Brother Vance is gonna roll up, sight and all, and be like, "Check out this thing I got in PvP."
Zavala rolls up with a brand new exotic you didn't even hear about. He's like, "Hey, Guardian, look at what I got. Sucker." It just like rolls off. Like, what was that?
Yep.
Next time you go to the raid, Callus isn't holding a chalice anymore. He's actually holding a cold heart. Hey, thanks, guys.
Here's my official petition to Bungie for the next exotic. I want an exotic. I don't care what it is, but it's just called Dancer.
Okay.
So it'd be an exotic dancer.
No,
come on, guys. You disappoint me sometimes.
What? Okay, so
tiny dancer, like
talk about no. That could actually.
Although I would love a gun that shoots a beam like a cold heart, but when it hits a vandal, he starts like breakdancing like Boogie Nights.
Not the scene with
awesome.
Mark Walt. Never mind.
It's like it's tickling him or something. Okay, so there's a lot more on this list though.
It's a tickle gun.
Hold on. We went through a lot of this stuff, but there's a few things we haven't talked about. They're wanting to do better incentives for prestige activities, and they talked about covering this in January sometime was the specific month that they talked about as their goal for it. And so that's nice because, there's like Mav mentioned earlier doing the raid that wasn't like a specific thing that he was going in wanting. I think he made that as a comment. Do you feel that way, Mav? That there's not really
I love the raid. I think the raid's amazing. My issue was that the end game content was shooting a fat guy in a chair. Like there was no real
story.
Yeah, no, it was the story. The raid itself I absolutely love, and I love going through it. It's just that it didn't feel like the end of a story to me.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the gear.
I still felt like the raid was out of nowhere from the actual like end of the campaign. If you didn't do that adventure that actually explained it, I was kind of just like,
wait. There's an adventure that explains it.
I mean, it kind of, but it's not like it leads into like we need to go there now.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like this is happening.
Yeah, didn't it kind of feel like it was just out of like?
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Feel,
yeah.
I don't remember what the main bad guy's name was. The big grunt from Halo.
Gary.
Gary. Yeah, Gary. Yeah, I forgot what his name was. But like, you gotta kill him. He gets bukaki'd by the Traveler, and it's then all of a sudden you're traveling to a big space whale.
It was kind of like Bukaki.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god! I never heard that analogy before.
Well, whoops.
It looked like he was a Bukaki.
He just opened up and bukaki'd all over him.
He was
suddenly the Traveler was awake.
It was like Gaul was a giant Bukaki. Because he was just
like big. Why didn't you save that comment for when Tinks was coming on next week?
I just thought that
this conversation would keep going.
Mental note.
That was just my analogy.
Mental note. Talk to Tinks about Bukaki.
Get lady on the podcast.
We need to. Okay. Well, I went off on a tangent on the story. I thought he was talking about.
We talked about Bukaki.
We were talking about Bukaki.
Yes, you did.
Do you remember when REZO chat was like only Bukaki discussion for like a month? You guys remember that? Back in Group Me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long story.
I don't know why.
Probably shouldn't get into it.
No, yeah,
we're going to get into it. We've got too much to talk about here.
Let's keep going.
But yes, about a lot of stuff.
Prestige activities. We're excited for. I'm excited for better incentives for prestige activities, because how many of y'all have done prestige nightfalls? Have y'all finished many of them? Because I haven't done a single one yet.
Is that different than a regular Nightfall?
Yes. It's like a lot harder.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard it's much harder.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I know.
Not much.
But there's like not a reason to go do it because I have all the in-game stuff. You don't get specific stuff from it. And so I'm excited for them to have reasons for us to go and do these things. They talked about better rewards for strikes, adventures, lost sectors. So we know we're getting heroic strikes, better stuff with that. They're not doing adventures and lost sectors right now because they didn't have time to work on it with all this other stuff, which I understand. Because they've talked about so many different things. We didn't really get to talk about private matches and ranked PvP. Like we mentioned it, but is this something that you guys have any thoughts about with ranked PvP coming and being put at the top of their list? Like I mentioned, it was something that surprised me, but we didn't really talk about it in any detail other than that.
That's something everyone wanted, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like,
especially some of those big PC streamers that jumped on, then got disappointed and dipped. Even was who was it? It was Tim the Tatman. He's like, you give me a rank, I'll come back and play.
Yeah, he's the one who said even was it Splatoon? He was like, Splatoon has a ranking system and Destiny doesn't.
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
Is that what it's called? Splatoon?
Yeah, Splatoon.
So. Yeah.
I never tried that game.
That's it. That's cool to hear that about another big name in the community that would come back, that left.
Yeah, so. He's like straight up. He's like, if you give me rank, I'll probably come back and I will grind that for at least a little bit. I'm like, that same for me. I will come back and I will attempt to try to get the highest rank probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be
always
cool.
the highest rank right here.
I am. Host pointing at his heart for those who can't see.
No, I was pointing at my
thank God, because that's not the where I thought he was. Never mind.
I thought he was rubbing his nipple, honestly.
Yeah, I think he was. My bad.
Because I have it to where you guys talk, you appear on the big screen, but then he kind of lowered back down as he reached up.
Wait, there's a way to change that? Because
just click on whoever you want. We always look at Lego.
Hey,
oh
Lego.
My gosh. Okay, yeah, so we're all excited for ranked PvP. I am glad Hove brought up the points he had against like what it could be that were bad, because I didn't think about any of those. So I'm curious how that all turns out and if they like have found ways to fix, those problems, people getting super antsy with it.
Peer-to-peer.
Said Crucible tuning's coming. That's coming December. This is it. They didn't talk about the sandbox at all, which I thought was weird because we know it's coming. Sandbox changes, but they talked about spawns and game type fixes, like scoring and whatnot. So that's cool. We already talked about the Iron Banner and Faction Rally improvements.
Can I say something about sandbox? Do you think they've refrained from saying anything about the sandbox because they're making last-minute changes due to some of the feedback? Or at least looking into it?
I don't know, because it is weird. The whole thing being mysterious is weird. Normally, I feel like they tell us these things ahead of time, and all they've said is sandbox patches will come when it drops. Like, you'll get the notes when it happens, basically.
Yeah, like maybe right now they're trying to make some changes. They're trying to rush some changes to take care of some of the things we've complained about, and they don't know. I can see that. They don't know. You know how they don't tell us things that aren't going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know, because what kind of things could those be, though, would be my question. Because there's some things that are obvious, like certain weapons being powerful right now, or high-caliber rounds being a problem, which even, I know there's been some YouTubers who have talked about it not being that big of a deal, but then John came on Crucible Radio and was like, actually, high-caliber rounds is really good, and it is, like, we're looking at it. So obviously that's something that might change. But what is it that you think that they're responding to, Hove?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a developer. I'm just saying. No, I'm not being a smartass. Like, I don't know. Like, if people ask us specifically, like when we had that big glass balance patch in D1 and we had a big talk about balance, that's fine. But when it comes, like, I don't know. Like, that's not for me to figure out. Like, a lot of the issues that people have been well documented. We don't need to go over them. It just seems odd that they haven't mentioned anything of the sort, and we do know they're rushing to get some of this stuff out for. That's why there's a December 5th and a December 12th.
I think
it just makes me curious if that has something to do with it.
I think you're onto something with it being like they're just tweaking stuff till the very last second, like or testing it, and making small changes. I could see that, but I don't expect for there to be something huge like faster time to kills or anything like that. Like, I think for right now they've got enough stuff on their plate, other than drastically changing the way PvP feels,
I've never been a big fan of the term "they have enough on their plate," because when is it bad to have a lot on your plate? I like having a lot of I like eating, so I like having a lot of things on my plate.
I honestly want to have this conversation because I'll make you feel bad for my life right now if you want to do that. Because I'm working like ridiculous hours with literally. My job, I'm doing the job of 3 people at the same time.
No, my point.
It is a bad thing to have too much on your plate.
But you don't. It's not actually a plate. I was being literal. Like, if I have a plate with food, I want more food.
Oh, you just don't like the terminology.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm gonna go back to my quiet corner here.
I just like, if I have a plate, I want
Matt
a lot.
Was coming in and he's like, "You shut up! I'm gonna make you feel bad right now."
If I have a plate, I thought Matt was gonna say like, "I haven't eaten in 3 weeks."
Yeah, no, I was like, "I don't have food in Canada.
I work too much. I don't have luxury of eating."
Yeah.
If I have a plate, what else do you put on a plate?
Hard it is to hunt a polar bear here.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm glad that Mav did bring that up, that it is a big deal, that they have a lot going on and there's not, they can only do so much. And we've talked about that even with other patches that have come out or how quickly they get out content. And especially like if you don't understand the amount of things, like I'd suggest like you go listen to that Bungie, like the official Bungie podcast for this month, because it was really eye-opening to me how much they had to think about and test and all the different departments and what they're all doing and how complicated of a game Destiny is. So I know they say that a lot and other podcasts say that a lot, but for real, like, you should check it out if you haven't.
Yeah.
We talked about mod economy changes, exotic improvements. Exotic improvements, they're improving, exotics throughout the year. They haven't really said much other than that. And obviously, well, we'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about the TWAB, but we'll go through some community questions first before we get to that. It's a very small TWAB. No big deal.
So she said,
wait. Emote interface is still coming. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Can y'all see anything or think of anything that I've missed here? Exploit safeguards for chests and resource nodes. This is for December 12th, so not right away, but the next week after. Basically, that the thing that happens when you open too many chests and then you don't get anything afterwards, basically they're taking that down to where it doesn't happen as much. And when it does happen, it's like it doesn't take away everything from you. It just takes away like a little bit to keep you from just going loot crazy. So it sounds like they're really trying to fix people's problems whenever the loot, I don't know what you call it, the loot barrier, the restriction that you get placed on you for opening too many chests too quickly. Like I don't know. There's a restriction right now. Loot cap. There you go.
That simplifies it pretty well, I think, actually.
Getting rid of that loot cap, or at least decreasing it significantly, which is great. I don't think we have anything to say about that. This is something. Okay, this is something that's so small, but I love that they actually addressed it, and it's December 12th. Vendors will now beckon you to hand in reputation tokens only when you're carrying enough to earn a reward program.
That's huge. I love that.
I hate having all those little icons on my screen where I just have one token. Like, it drives me crazy.
Did you read the part where they added another icon for your teammates on the map?
No. What?
Because they didn't.
You just got it.
I was like, are you serious?
I was about to say, like, wait a second, did they really?
My heart actually skipped a beat there, and
that's a little quality of life thing they could have. They could have added, I guess.
Don't talk dirty to me, Hove.
Of all the things I've said on this podcast, and
it's something our bass player used to say.
In the house of Lego.
Okay. We talked about the token stuff, how it works. Basically, they've added a bunch of ways that you'll get more tokens, which we don't necessarily want. We just, want different ways to use them. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I'm not going to list it all, but basically you get a ton more tokens for doing different activities, which I guess in a way some people complained about when they showed off on the last stream. Like they opened up the public events.
Rewarding public event to date.
2 tokens in a balloon. And so, yeah, those rewards are increasing, basically.
I felt like they noticed and they're kind of awkward about it, too. Did you see that? He's like,
they knew it was coming.
I want to know what happened after that.
Oh, like, after that stream?
Was like, you idiots, you put the wrong feed in or
someone
something.
got fired.
We brought up,
where's the loot?
We brought up last week in the pre-recorded video, like they knew that was about to come.
But it looked like they didn't.
I know it looked like they didn't. I know.
Or some guy was like, "Hey, you want to play a good joke on Deej? Watch this."
Live on stream at the front of town.
Poor Deej, if that was the case.
I know. I feel bad. I don't want to talk about it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Who turned on the RNG button?
They had some intern.
The loot cap.
They had some intern. They were like, "Listen, just record you doing this new public event, please." And he was like, "All right." They were like, "We want to see the rewards." And he was like, "Oh, two tokens in the blue. Yeah, it's time to go home. I'm not doing it again. They'll be fine."
Oh my gosh. Well, before I want to talk about the TWAB, but before we get there, I think we have a few community questions this week for Mav, and I want to jump to those first. If you're cool with it, Hove.
I mean,
I never know if he is.
It is
Hove
up to me because I'm the podcast Twitter boss, and yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Okay, so there's some good ones, and then there's some that I am not going to read because they're bad even for me.
Impressive.
If you absolutely had, this is from Watts. If you absolutely had to choose between Rex and Kales, who do you choose?
This is hard.
This is so mean. And why did you start with the worst one?
You're going to stab someone in the back.
I know. Jeez.
I would say duct tape them together.
Nope. Can't do it. You have to pick one.
I'm accepting. I'm not going to pit Resolute members against each other.
I'm the podcast Twitter boss.
Yeah, but I'm the podcast boss. Let's go to the next question.
I'm just here.
I'm just here.
I'll answer the question. That's fair. I'll answer the question.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Just say.
I pick mana. Hey, sexy.
Woo! Oh my. All right. Azrael Speaks, who was here in chat. Better Canadian band, Nickelback or Avril?
We had an argument about this. We went back and forth because you make me pick between two icons.
like Avril Lavigne?
Yeah.
I'm not answering that one. We're moving on because it made me mad because I'm a musician. And to hear those
so
two,
you rather pick between two friends over two?
I know.
I didn't pick two friends. I picked a third party just to kick the question away. And I'm not going to pick between hot garbage and hotter garbage. So we're just going to move on.
Oh, and hotter. There's one that's hotter though. So
well, Avril Lavigne is definitely hotter than the guys from Nickelback. So.
She can take me higher to a place where
that was Creed, but
yeah, that's
you're right. I tried. Okay, we're gonna take that out, right? We're just gonna cut that out from what you do.
I would say Avril Lavigne over Nickelback just because I can't stand listening to them.
We're gonna leave that one for the bloopers, aren't we?
All right, next question from Rex.
I was so sure.
Have you ever had a sexual fantasy with a character from Destiny?
Wait,
this is one of the tame ones. I'm reading through these.
Wait, what was it again?
Have you ever had a sexual fantasy with a character from Destiny? This is only for Mav.
No, I have not.
All right, Chibi Kim, where do you stand on pineapples on pizza with Canadian bacon?
Oh.
And second question, is Chibi the best mod ever?
So Chibi got unmodded for my chat.
So no.
That's borderline political.
No, she's still bring that up. I'm just being she's still mod. I'm just joking. My pizza has all kinds of things, but not Canadian back bacon because I don't eat it, and not pineapples.
I like this guy.
All right, top or bottom from DJ?
Bottom.
Less work. I like it.
Exactly.
Amen.
Just had shoulder surgery, man. Can't hold the body weight up.
Rex.
Sorry. Hang on. 1 second. There you go. Keep going.
Rex again. When's the next time we're going to touch butts?
The next time he comes to Canada.
Okay.
I'm smashing through these. Let's speed round. Yep. Lightning round. Let's do this.
What's your dream vacation? Also Rex.
Oh.
Going to Guardian Con because I'll never be able to afford to go.
Oh.
Also Rex.
Really
what's
depressing.
the best size for a table?
Sorry?
What's the best size for a table?
When you buy tables, do they actually come with certain size? Like
there's something
I thought this was lightning round, guys.
I never bought a table before. I'm curious.
Hang on. No, I think this is about the sturdy desk thing that happened.
I don't even know what's going on.
Do you want me to tell this story? When I first met my wife?
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
My wife and I both worked for security. She was my boss, and I was a teenager. And it's like
really?
My wife is nearly 10 years older than me. She doesn't look it, she doesn't act it, but she is. And so she was my boss, and I sat down the desk. I sat down the chair at the desk for the first day, and I'm like, wow, this really hot blonde in a white shirt is my boss, and I'm going to do terrible things to her. So, and I touched the desk, and the desk wobbled. So what I did is I reinforced the shit out of that desk with, you wouldn't believe how many angled brackets I stuffed underneath there and drilled into it. But she actually came into the office the next day and said to me, like, that desk is, do you do something? I'm like, yeah, I fixed it. She's like, oh, yeah, it's really rigid now. I'm like, yeah, it is. And that was the end of it. And then I didn't talk to her for like another year, and then we started dating. But it was just the fact that I like reinforced a desk to handle like a tank.
That's
Rex.
I thought there was going to be a need for a sturdy desk. My mind.
That's why I made the Here's how
the desk sealed the deal.
Wow.
No. Other things. Never mind. Anyway, so
this question
12 by 4.
Perfect. This question's good. Gungasaur in chat would like to know, her titties or Mana's titties?
Wow.
I've never seen either, so
oh, you haven't seen pictures of me on the beach?
I'm kidding, don't. It's okay.
What's the best album to come out this year in your opinion from Hamsley?
That's hard because I haven't downloaded any albums or bought any albums from this year, so I don't know.
So whatever the latest Nickelback album is. Next question, Matt Grundy. This is a good one. We need to answer this one as a podcast.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, we don't, but it is a good question.
Okay.
Matt Grundy would like to know, what is the correct way to apply toilet paper? A, neatly folded. B, crumpled in a wad. C, a combo of A and B. Or D, none of the above.
So is the last one just not using toilet paper then?
I don't know. Maybe there's a third way.
It could be
maybe there's some other option.
Your hand. I love how you went straight for your hand.
Duct tape? Just
yes.
Sandpaper?
What if the cat's walking by?
Could the answer depend?
No.
The animal, the nearest animal. Hey, Diddley Winks, come here.
Yeah, here's Zuko.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I take it. I roll it around my hand a couple times. And then I
you remove it from the hand.
Yeah,
so it's a combo of A and B, pretty much.
I guess that's all. That's what I've always done.
That's not a combo A and B. That's a neatly folded.
No, neatly folded is folded. This is just kind of like wrapping it up, and then that's A and B.
I'm gonna go with the solid A.
Yeah.
You
maximize surface area.
Yeah, A. What, Hove?
You neatly fold it, Mav?
You maximize surface area. If you scrunch it into a ball, you're gonna get little bits of crap.
Well, no, that's why you don't scrunch it in a ball. It's just kind of like a little bit of a scrunch, like just kind of like not neatly wrapped, like around your hand, and then just kind of push it down.
Like you hold it like you just like kind of like a little flower.
Well, obviously, Hove answers B then, right?
No, C.
Oh, okay.
A and B.
Yep.
Man, you get me.
Yeah. I know what he means.
Because listen, I'm taking a shit. I don't need to like
right now.
No, not right now.
You leaned over for that one.
All he was like, anyone here?
I'm taking a shit. Hold on.
He looked around before he said
so
that.
If I was taking a shit, I don't need to be like super proper and like make sure it's folded real nice and perfect. But like, yeah, you want to be able to like. Dude, have good surface area and then refold.
This isn't kindergarten crafts time. Like, it's not like it's difficult to fold toilet paper in.
No, you know, like those little things that the kids used to make with paper that you fold, and you open one and like it shows you choose another one. You kind of like fold it like that to where you wipe and then
you're making a paper claw to remove excrement off your cornhole.
Yeah,
like,
origami. I make an origami crane and then I wipe my ass with it. All right, that's the answer. That's D. None of the above. Moving on.
Old Chinese secret.
Man taught me that one.
Somehow Hope knows.
Origami wiper.
I'm done. Twitter questions are over. If I didn't get to yours, I'm sorry. We either just didn't get to it or it was even too explicit for me to read out loud.
Which is very explicit.
Kales.
Oh my gosh.
Kales.
Yeah, Kales had a good one in there, and it just
It's a little far. It goes a little far. And the best part is it went pretty far, and then Monk said, I thought this was Gungasaur that tweeted this at first.
I didn't even see that response.
If you're curious what we're talking about, you can find us at REZOcast on Twitter,
I'm actually going there right now to check out these questions.
Okay, so just to finish off the cast here, we have a very small TWAB.
Speak for yourself.
They just went over the main thing was Curse of Osiris gear and weapons show off. Since they didn't do a stream, they had like a very short, like 1 minute video basically. But there were 3 things that are shown off in it, and they're all in the TWAB picture, basically the main picture there, and that is a Solar Cold Heart looking thing, which I don't know what that is, but it looks awesome. There's the Vice grenade launcher tracking thing, Spike. I don't know, but that looks really cool. I think personally, John Wisniewski's been talking recently that on Crucible Radio specifically, he talked about there being some new exotic Vice weapon that's going to be like what Vice is like their trophy weapon basically, and I feel like this has got to be it. Like a tracking grenade launcher that follows you on the ground and blows you up. That
they had to do something with
was that the little crawly thing that we were talking about earlier?
I think so. That's what it looked like.
I only saw the video once. It looked like a little crawly thing. It may have just been something spinning, maybe. I'm not sure. I have to go back to it actually.
It's
a chicken-sized Lego.
No, it's a yes. Yes, exactly. That's what it would. That's what
they should have made it a Lego-sized chicken. It would have been better.
It would have been better. I agree.
That would have been terrifying. Like that thing's running at me.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry. If I was a PvP and a giant chicken-sized Lego came after me, or a Lego-sized chicken,
yeah,
that's confusing. I'd be terrified.
Well, see, we had this question once, and we decided that chicken-sized Legos, like a whole bunch of them, would be more terrifying if they had fusion rifles. Because it's a bunch of little Legos running around with fusion rifles. That would be terrifying.
That would be.
Yeah. All right, just watch it again. It is a little creepy crawly thing that chases after you. But really fast.
Doesn't it look like it shot out of the vice gun? And
yeah,
then
it looks like
him? Yeah. Dude, I'm excited to see how that thing works and how good the tracking is on it. Then the last thing is there's a, aside from the armor, which, we'll talk about, but there was the Red Death hand cannon looking thing, which if that gives you health back, that would be very beneficial in this game that takes forever to recover. And I really hope, we were talking about this before the podcast, but I really, really hope that it starts your recovery immediately instead of just giving you a chunk of health back, because that would be so awesome in this game where recovery takes forever, especially for like hunters or, hunters and hand cannons go hand in hand. So
if it does what we hope it does, this could be meta AF. Yeah. But I kind of want it.
Do you think, okay, I have a question for y'all. Do you think that if it's not meta, like archetype, maybe the range is kind of bad on it, but it still has a really good exotic perk, do you think people will still want to use it if it's not a very good hand cannon, but the perk on it is so good?
Maybe like harder to use or something, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
If the perk, or I mean, if the gun doesn't, if the perk requires you to get kills and the gun's worse at getting kills, no. People are always going to use what's going to kill faster.
Yeah, that's kind of my question. I don't know. I feel like there might... Okay, let me rephrase it. If you can get kills just as fast with it, like, what's your least favorite hand cannon to use? Maybe you don't like...
hand cannon.
Do what?
Every hand cannon.
Okay, like Annual Skate, I feel like that's when no one really uses it. Maybe on PC they do, but on console, no one really uses Annual Skate, I feel like. Like, if it was like that, would you use it if it had the perk? Like where it just regen your health. I don't know. Like I feel like it could be really interesting.
So wasn't that perk on Red Death if you killed someone to regen your health?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So you'd have to have a gun that has fast time to kill plus the regen health. If it was just a regen health, then the odds of you actually getting a kill wouldn't happen.
And it has to actually hit its target. Like we're talking, how hand cannons are with Bloom and all that. If it's
I'm just thinking about the way that Ramblin uses hand cannons, how he uses it for his finishing shot. Like he'll down them like their health with a bunch, and then they'll go around the corner and swap to a hand cannon and then finish them off. Like he uses it as a finishing tool. And I've heard a lot of people having success using hand cannons that way. And so if this gun was like your finishing tool and you're in an engagement, you swap your low health, you get the last kill, get your recovery back, switch weapons to the other kill, down the next guy, switch weapons, one bullet, get that recovery gun. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it just doesn't even do that. Maybe it's just the skin that looks like it too.
Maybe none of this is.
It could. We could be pumping it up, and then it just ends up being like just an exotic skin.
That'd be so sad.
I
know. But yeah, and then there was some gear basically in the screenshot. You see all of the gear that they showed off in the trailer for the TWAB. And I think the Titan one looks kind of like a bug. Like, I don't really like it. Yeah. I like all the other stuff they showed off for Curse of Osiris as far as the gear stuff goes. Just not that particular set. The Hunter one looks really cool. But do you guys have any thoughts on...
cooler than Titans.
Yeah, maybe with this gear set.
Get out of my house.
You're talking about the banner for the...
Yeah.
For what they showed, like those three.
Exactly.
You don't like the Rhino Titan?
See, I didn't think of it as a rhino. It looked more like a bug, but I guess.
It looks like a Hercules beetle.
Yeah. I see it now. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Warlock looks pretty cool too.
I'm curious if the cold heart, basically the solar cold heart, that's not what it is. It's a completely different gun. I keep calling it that. They have an archetype, and I forget what it's called. The laser beam archetype. But
trace rifle, right?
Tracer,
yeah. There you go. So do you think that it's going to be a different archetype of that weapon? Like, you know how you have faster firing hand cannons and slower firing hand cannons and so on and so forth. Like, what if this one does more damage? I don't know. It has to do the same damage, right? Because it's a laser beam.
Maybe it's like little baby Spartan lasers from Halo or something. Like, maybe you have to charge it, and when you hit it, it does a portion of damage.
Yeah, dude, that would be awesome.
Maybe something really would happen. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to say but it still has like maybe the same time to kill as the cold heart, but it's just you got to get maybe precision shots with like just a straight like charge, like a small charge, then beam, then small charge, then beam. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
I'm wondering if you cross the streams on the cold heart and the warm heart, which I'm just going to call it the warm heart right now. What would it like? Would it be cool if you had two guys on the same team and they both shot their cold heart and warm heart at each other, and it
creates an explosion?
Yeah, and
so like some sort of like Neo versus Smith, just pulse. You know, I don't know.
Yes, to all of it.
My question is going to be: would you be happy or sad if they called it the warm heart?
Honestly, I think I'd be happy.
Like, I would laugh. Yeah, I wouldn't
that'd be the second thing in this entire like D2 thing, this D2 lifespan that I've been right about.
What was the first thing?
I called that Callus would have, or not Callus, Gaul would have all the abilities of the
Oh, really? You called that?
Nice. That's cool.
That's like the only thing I ever got right in life.
Well, the only thing left that we have on the TWAB is they just I guess maybe two things. They they do the weekly like watch out for these problems. One of them was when in downloading Curse of Osiris, watch out for the space. Like, it requires several gigabytes of space, so be sure to check out those requirements for your system. But other than that, weekly reset once Curse of Osiris hits is going to be 1700 UTC, which is 11 a.m. for me. So I think for y'all it's noon. Yeah, so
Mav,
that'll be a
change.
change.
Canada in?
All of them.
I can't tell if Hope was being like I think Hope really for a second was like, wait a minute.
I only act dumb.
Okay, well, on that note, I'm in the podcast
like, with the song thing. Like, yeah.
You full out sang that song, Mana.
What song?
I don't remember. Exactly.
The Creed song.
Keep going.
Anyway, this has been REZOcast episode 62. We got Mav on, and that was awesome.
Maverick Jr.
Mav, thanks for coming out again, man. And I don't believe you're Mav Jr. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming out, dude.
It wasn't me, I swear. No, anytime. You guys need someone on here, I'm good for short notice. I love coming out.
Well, this has been Lego Lit Flash, Lego, aka Lego Lit Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
Twitter.
In Canada time zone.
In one of Canada's time zones. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, the same thing. Hove76, HOV76. I was trying to think of something funny, and it just didn't work.
I know, I saw the smoke coming in.
So instead I said, and I quote,
trying too hard there.
Mana. Hey, why don't you sing us a Creed song, Mana?
I mean, I could, but I'm not. So anyways, I'm Manigator. You can find me as Manigator on pretty much everything. Maybe one day YouTube again, mainly on Twitch and Twitter. How about you, Mav?
Can you take me higher, swell?
Oh, that little whistle that came with it.
The end?
That's amazing.
That's where we can find Mav. No, Mav, where can we find you for real?
Twitter, REZO Maverick 0. Twitch.tv/Maverick045. What are you owing about?
I thought I just lost the internet connection.
Oh, no, I'm good.
No, they got it. It's good.
I thought it was me. I was like, oh, wow.
And YouTube, same thing, Maverick045, but I don't really post much there.
Nice. Well, thanks everyone for coming out this week. Looking forward to trying all the Curse of Osiris stuff with you. And until next time, everyone, GG.
GG.